think the other thing that is valuable is, right, security. When we talk about security practitioners, I always feel a little icky because, like, there are so many classes within cybersecurity, right? And there are like prestige classes within, those individual classes, and you can dual class, right? Like, you know, I came into the world as like a threat intel malware kind of guy, and then got into network defense, and then like eventually kind of dual classed into like data scientist slash AI researcher. And then that became its own field, right? So you don't necessarily have to become an expert in whatever the hot new thing is, right? All the people who like jumped to cloud security, and like now we have a ton of cloud security experts, and that's great. But if everybody who was doing good old fashioned like PCAP analysis jumped ship and started learning about cloud security, we might be in a rough spot, right? So I think those are still really important skills to have, and being able to get deep into those sorts of skills, right, is like when I write my little AI red teaming agent that goes and does stuff, it probably won't be able to reverse engineer as well as you. It probably won't be able to pick apart the binary as well as you, right? It won't have that intuition that you have. There's a lot of like, you talk to really experienced people, and a lot of times they're like, they talk about code smell. They're like, I don't know, it just looked weird. It just seemed like that would be where there would be a bug. Well, okay, maybe someday AI will get there, but like that, there's no reason to panic, right? And so, yeah, I think just like always be learning and kind of know your niche and know what you want to get deeper into, because it's really hard to automate processes that are already difficult to do manually. Yeah, and so that's really where I would come down on it, is like know your niche, know what you want to do. If AI excites you, if AI is something you're into, then there's a lot of good resources out there. Josh Sachs has a newsletter that he puts out. Josh is phenomenal. That's a really good resource. Be aware of where these things are, right? Like, just because I'm a reverse engineer doesn't mean I'm going to not know what somebody means when they say CloudTrail. But, you don't need to be an expert at, figuring out guard duty false positives if you're a malware reverse engineer. You just kind of need to vaguely know what that concept means, right? So remaining conversant, yeah, I think that's really where I would go, which is incredibly generic advice, but I hope it makes somebody feel good.
I mean, it makes me feel better, right? Because it's like I just see all this stuff popping up, and it's like, man, I don't even have the time. Like, I have two little kids.
Yeah.
Like, so am I just going to be outsourced to some bot? You know what I mean? Like, and I know the likelihood of that is pretty low. I mean, I like to at least think that I'm a little bit smart, right? So it's just like, what do I do? What do I focus on? Where do I go? Because like, even just having two kids with doing my PhD, it's just like, why did I do this to myself? Like, I should have picked any other time to do it in my life other than right now.
I get it. Yeah, I can tell you from my experience, there is never a good time. Yeah, I think a lot of that makes sense. And really it just comes down to like, you don't necessarily have control over whether or not some member of senior leadership decides that they're gonna do a riff. And like, some of these things are just above us, right? But I think that what we're going to see is that in another generation, like the workforce generation, not like a lifetime, the fact that there are organizations that are replacing entry level people with bots are going to regret it, because someday those senior people are going to be gone. And then when the bot does something you don't like, it's going to be very hard to find a mid-level professional, because you didn't hire any entry-level professionals to help you unbot yourself, right? To fix whatever went wrong. And so, I think about all those like 95-year-old COBOL devs who are still getting paid like $8 million for a week of work to go and fix some horrible bug in a banking system.
Yeah.
And then who's learning COBOL,
Right.
right? I think we're gonna see similar things.
I know someone that does that, and that's literally all he does. And he's like, I am completely indispensable to this company. He's like, they don't even
Hmm.
want me to retire.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
right.
That's so true, though. It's like, it sounds like a whole new professional services category is going to be spun up in 10 years,
Oh, yeah.
to unbot these companies, because like no one's going to want to do that. Like, if you try to hire me on to like unbot you, it's just like, it gives me a bad taste in my mouth already.
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, you already made this stupid mistake,
Yeah.
of treating your people like that. And now you want me to undo it so that you could bring people in, and like it's
Yeah.
a whole mess.
Right. Exactly. So, some eager young listener already has their career set out for them. Just, sit on the sidelines until people are like, get these robots out. There you go.
Right.
That could be your whole job.
Right. Well, Eric, I really appreciate you taking the time today. I know we went over. I really do apologize for that.
That's for trouble.
I try to always stay, on task and on time and everything, and I usually do. This is the latest I've ever gone.
Yeah, I'm not known for my brevity. So I appreciate you having me on, Joe. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's the thing with the PhD. Like they force you to go in such detail that like now you just like always have to go into detail.
I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Eric, before I let you go, how about you tell my audience where they could find you if they wanted to connect with you, and probably where they could find Garrick if they wanted to either contribute or download or you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, I am not really active on almost any social media anywhere. But if you search my name, Eric Galinkin, I'm the only one. So whatever you find, it's probably me unless it's bad, in which case it's definitely not me. And as for Garrick, Garrick is hosted on GitHub. So github.com/NVIDIA/Garrick, Garak. We have a Discord. The Discord community is wonderful. We have some really active members. We are finally at a point where we have community members who are answering questions about it in the Discord.
Huh.
And I love that
I'll have to
because that
get
means I
into
don't
that.
have to do it. So we have a really, really active community. PRs are always accepted. We try to give good feedback unless the PRs are truly wretched. But that has happened, I don't think ever yet. Not on this project anyway, which is great, right? We have a really great, really engaged, really active community. They're super awesome. So yeah, come check us out, download it. It's also on PyPy, so you can just pip install Garrick. And our docs are okay. They're getting better, I promise.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. We'll definitely have Eric back on. Hopefully not in another year, be a little bit sooner. Cool. Awesome.